And I'm back streaming. I don't know for how long, but I want to stream a little more. We couldn't save them all, but if we'd arrived any later, it would have been a massacre. Things were looking bleak until you and the first show turned up. Though there will be time later to discuss your journey to the first, there is one thing I must ask. Did you perchance speak with our friends in the Crystarium? Lena and Beglug both warned me against overexerting myself. Strange that they would express such similar sentiments, identical in fact, but their advice is duly noted. This is the contingent base of operations, I take it. At the very least, I am glad our own members are accounted for. It's been a while since we last spoke. For some time I was not myself. Lucia and the others told me what happened that night, and about the events that took place while I was receiving treatment. Oops. Okay. It was only then I realized the lengths you and yours go to. I know I might never be able to repay you, but I'll be damned if I don't try. And most of all, I want to thank you, all of you, for everything you've done and continue to do for the sake of my people. That the final day should manifest here too, after everything these people have suffered, is a fate cruel beyond words. Nevertheless, with allies old and new at our side, there is yet reason to be hopeful. To see Zeno standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant, gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again. Oh, I didn't realize. Huh, I look pretty good. And it's a drill. I got a drill spear. Yeah. We still need to quiz you about your time on the first if we ever get more than a moment's respite.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuneau Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Charlian alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Did you hear hear something just now?
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Oriange made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Uriange's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Heidelin's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Oriange made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Heidelin's right paw. That last bit is very important, as am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Charlian, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperids made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Good to have you back.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Beg pardon, good madame. I could scarce help but notice that sightseeing log on your person. You wouldn't happen to be the adventurer my niece wrote about, would you? Ah, so it is you. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Bebeth Ironheart, Millith aunt and seasoned explorer. Be a dear and hand me that log of yours. Millith told me all about how she helped you embark on explorations of your own, so it's only right that I share with you some wisdom of my own. Let me see here. Oh, I can't forget to mention that. And done. You should be all set, dear. I've jotted out everything I've heard about the most remarkable vistas the realm has to offer. Of course, a few notes I've shared are not more than rumors, some describing locales so fantastical that I can barely believe they exist. But as I always say, the true joy of exploration lies not in the destination, but in the journey. So go forth, dear, and see what sort of journey these hints take you on. That sightseeing log of yours won't fill itself, you know. Gazing out upon the ocean like this sets my adventurous spirit ablaze. Myriad wonders are simply waiting to be discovered. Why not venture forth and find them? I dare say Master Forchant was no nonplussed as we to learn the identity of Heideland's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the Rostra. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetherius, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loperids a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Kryle tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's ellipsis flower lead? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasa are one and the same, this all but proves Nitana's theory. We're an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamics of the great expanse. Metion, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of the Aetherius. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Metion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Metion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Metion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Venat, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Venat you met in Ellipsis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetherius, not stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Metion? Yeah, she wouldn't give up. That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided us clues such as the ellipsis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Metion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Heidelin must be a necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Arengold and other Echoblessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the anti-tower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt, we've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodius. Then Father was about to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Twas Hydaelyn commandment that in the event Zodiac should perish, the Lockwards were to deliver the people of Aetheris from harm. Though that be the limit of their duties, they possess knowledge unparalleled of the great expanse and the means of its traversal. Should they be persuaded to assist in our efforts to reach Metion, we would do well to heed their counsel. At first, I wasn't sure what to make of Hermes and his motives, but it's like we discussed at the Great Work when faced with the harsh realities of life. Some seek the release of death, others grow defiant. They fight. Either way, it is our right to choose. Well, that was a much quicker response than I was expecting. Nice to know our efforts on the Magna Glacius didn't go unnoticed. Father has granted us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Though we know not what information, if any, they intend to reveal, there is only one way to find out, to the Rostra. I hope you don't mind me staying behind while you attend the big meeting. The Rostra reminds me a bit too much of the Supremacy Scary Tribunal in Ishgard. You'll forgive me if I keep my distance. After you left for Garlemald, I went to Labyrinthos and tried to reach Hydaelyn using the Ellipsis flowers. Alas, my attempts were in vain. I can only assume that she spent a vast amount of her power in the confrontation with Fandaniel, and is presently unable to communicate. Indeed, as her presence left my body, I could feel how faint it had grown. Master Matoya has suspected for some time that the Forum has been constructing a new facility for the purpose of surveying the Ethereal Sea. Of course, as the custodian of the anti-tower, which would presumably be rendered obsolete as a result. She has a few things to say about that. Nothing that should be repeated in polite company, you understand. After sending Graha and Estinian back to Garlemald, I stayed in Locus Amonis for a time. Being in an imperial province, it was already in turmoil before the onset of the final days. You wouldn't believe the difficulties we had overseeing the evacuation of the villages we visited. I have faith the detachment we left behind will continue our work and shepherd the people to safety, to what safety can be found in a world coming to an end. To think the Crystal Tower of the First is capable of such feats as sending one's soul into the distant past, the events you witness and help shape may yet hold the key to forestalling the final days. I'm remembered of our dear friends in a future I unmade, whose selfless efforts saw the 8th umbral calamity averted, in this timeline at least. Too much has been sacrificed for us to abandon Aetheris now. The forum is in session, and as such, the Rashta is closed to visitors. A scion of the 7th Dawn, very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door, lest you forget this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. I suggest you make your way inside. The forum takes a rather dim view of lateness. You are with the Science, yes. There is nothing more than I can tell you of the Grey Exodius Safeway you referred in at the forum's proclamation. Pray be on your way.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the 7th Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glacies. We shall not soon forget your service to us, and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Charlian has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Charlian citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on two conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fourcheneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Rest assured, I have every intention of honoring the Forum's decisions. My affinity for espionage may have earned me the title of Archon, but I was completely unaware of the Forum's plans. There may have been clues here and there, had I been of mind to look for them, but contemplating that possibility only serves to further wound my pride. Not that anyone could have realistically surmised that their brilliant stratagem was to build a giant ship fly to the moon. A still larger vessel in truth, and use that to travel to another star. Even now, the whole idea seems positively absurd when spoken out loud. Of late, I have seen no sign of Lockworks, this being their first opportunity to experience the wonders of Charlie, and the potential for misadventure is nigh infinite. Perhaps if Midgorm were still alive in the traditional sense, that is, he could have offered to help the vessel attain the necessary speeds. Then again, there's no guarantee his contribution would make enough of a difference to matter. The further we pursue the mysteries of the universe, the more I struggle to comprehend the fortuitous nature of time itself. We measure and quantity it based on observations of celestial bodies, such as the sun and moon, but from your account it is unclear whether the ancients viewed time in a similar manner. I mention this because while Vanat knew the final days would reoccur at a defined point in the future, she presumably had no way of knowing exactly when. Even so, the completion of the Forum's preparations to escape the moon's aligning so closely with the advent of the final days is surely no coincidence. I'm a little vexed that we've yet to learn of the Forum's replacement for the anti-tower, though I expect that in time they'll share that too with us, and with Master Matoya if they've any sense. I'll admit, bringing up the issue of the Forum's incomplete arc was more than a little daunting. They were, to their credit, quite open about the current state of affairs. What was even more surprising, though, was when they took Alphinaud up on his offer. While I very much take issue with the Forum's approach to selecting whom to save and when, they're not wrong for wanting to minimize potential conflicts. Fortunately, if this plan of ours actually works, the Great Exodius itself will become entirely unnecessary. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part, but since we require both a means of communicating with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteon, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the arc as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Aether Burner. I'd like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn an Aether Burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. As Father seems so eager to help, maybe we can have him educate us about the Aether Burner. Might be slightly better than what I have now. As instructed, I shall take you to see the Aether Burner. Meet me outside the Archon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos, hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Do they intend to carry everything in the Airtron to the moon? Apologies. I got a sore throat. Let's see how long I can keep going though. They said they'd started loading scientific records and biological samples, but do they really need all of it? It seems so long ago we first set foot here. Where once we were refused entry, we are now welcomed as guests. Among the many and varied documents sent to the moon, I did chance upon several inventories made in the Archeon. Mayhap the forum believes such records would provide insight into the intricacies of celestial duties. Regardless, the Lubberts did not consider them worthy of more than a cursory glance. Though we have been granted permission to enter the lower levels is proof of our increased standing, or that they had not been willing to confide us sooner. It has been many moons since I last visited Labyrinthos. As vast as the archives were back then, they've only continued to grow in the days since. Some would surely object to the forum allowing foreign elements to have the run of their secret facilities. We should count ourselves lucky. I don't understand the appeal of reshaping it to look like the worlds above. Make your peace with what it is, or go outside if that's what you prefer. I like Estinian. Okay. Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum is in the wisdom has granted you access to the Archon's lift. Step inside and have Ophelion take you to the medial circuit. You wish to use the lift, yes? Can I talk to you? I'm aware of more of the important things than research right now, but I feel it is paramount I carry on as normal. I have sent your associates ahead to Logistron Alpha, on the other side of Mero Ergonomics. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to. No, never mind, it can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. It's been so long since I've been here. Huh. I've got no idea how our gleaner is supposed to make ends meet when the world's in a state like this. Things have certainly taken a turn for the chaotic, haven't they? Not that it affects my work, really. For until Labyrinth has seen its purpose fulfilled, we must keep it running. After all the waiting, the Gleaner delivered a counterfeit. I'm hoping to have them refund me and find the genuine article, but I worry that time is fast running out. My colleague was meant to help me transport some equipment, but he's still nowhere to be seen. Honestly, he's going to make me wait until the world ends. Oh, there you are, having words with Master Fortunate by any chance. Knowing the Forum, even the people working down here are probably kept in the dark about the true purpose of this place. On our journey here, I was filled with an inexplicable sense of elation to see vegetables other than carrots being cultivated. Why, it near brought a tear to mine eye. We must be close to the central circuit, which is where Shalian's greatest secrets are held. If the tomes I pursued told the whole story. The fields we passed along the way brought back memories of Ferndale. Unfortunately, we were never blessed with such abundant crops. The further underground we go, the more surprises we find. I wonder what this place is actually for. We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being Login Sun Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for growth and preservation of biological samples kept here. Hold on, how do you know so much about it? Why, Father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. 'Tis all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Loporits in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such process in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitants built for all mankind neath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. 'Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Heidelin unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits a theorist, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the great Exodius. But that is not all. It is also the testing ground for technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Loporits have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the great Exodius are carried out, the construction of the Ark amongst them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free rein to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. Then let us proceed. By the degree of the form, the signs of the Seven Dawn are permitted to enter the central circuit. This is it, the central circuit. We might finally have the chance to commune directly with Hydaelyn, provided we somehow manage to succeed where Shelvian's finest engineers have failed. Still, it won't hurt to have a look. Please tell me we're almost there, or is there another underground level we have to reach? The even more central circuit, perhaps? The farther down we travel, the more expansive the sky above becomes, artificial though it is. Would that the heavens elsewhere could be so idyllic. True. I imagine the secrets kept here would be of great benefit to my known research, but I will refrain from indulging my curiosity for the time being. The sooner we can get a look at this ether burner of theirs, the sooner we can start working out how to improve it. The temperature environment here is not unlike that of Bestwaysboro, though the diverse vegetation doth produce a far more complex bouquet of aromas. A welcome difference indeed, for I have grown weary of the scent of carrots. One moment. Hello? I'm streaming right now. Streaming. I don't know why. Maybe if I stop soon. I don't know if I'm stopping soon though. Oh, okay. What time is it? Alright. Yeah, I'll let you know. Alright. Thanks. Okay. I have no idea what makes Alpha Node so confident we can solve this problem of theirs. Relentless optimism, I presume. A not unwelcome trait in a youth, but less in a gambler. Let us resolve never to let him set foot in the gold saucer. The ether burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Danko, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars this way. This is the man we seek. Do not try to startle him. Perhaps you'd like to break the ice. He looks lost in thought, although it seems he's hit something of a stumbling block. Is he talking to himself? For a closely guarded secret, you can see practically everything from outside, even with the magical barrier surrounding it. He hasn't even realized we're here, or perhaps he has realized but just doesn't care. While many of the facilities within the central circuit seem to be visible from the upper levels, the more secretive work must be carried out behind closed doors. I was expecting the Skysteel manufactory, but instead I find the village smithy. Did I talk to you? Surely the Forum has already petitioned the aid of the Loporits, given their familiarity with such technologies. I
could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost me eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, masterful, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise. and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive cores from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
You want me to go and fetch that wood sits?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
Ah, he said it.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-foot expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Any road, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking, and I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog!
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Oh, look at Alpha now. Appreciate you doing all this, but I ain't getting me hopes up just yet. There are no oaths or contracts binding the members of the Ispard contingent, and in many ways it was even more loosely organized than the Crystal Braves. Nevertheless, I knew none would refuse the call to arms. Truly, we have been blessed with trustworthy and dependable allies. Well, I'm all for relying on the power of friendship, but we now left with the rare luxury of having nothing to do. There must be something that requires our attention. First the teleport and now the final days, huh? No one can accuse the Ispard contingent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, they were all so committed to the cause when we first set out, but after seeing the example set by you, Alpha Note, and the others, the change was palpable. They couldn't help but believe. Time and time again, it seems the Allagan something or other are either the cause or the solution to our problems. To think the self-same materials that once launched Dalamud will now be used to help ferry mankind to the moon. That's the poetry. There's poetry in that. What's the serendipitous irony that the remnants of the seventh umbral calamity would become the keys to mankind's salvation? Never more certain have I been that Master Louis watcheth over us from the ethereal sea. Considering how much of a fuss he made at the time, I don't see why he takes every opportunity to bring it up. It was just firewood. I'm confident that even the deadliest of elegant defense mechanisms are no match for our allies. At this rate, some of them might soon have as many accomplishments to their names as a certain warrior of light. It's times like these we're reminded of how famous or infamous Alphinaud has become. Who would have thought he could achieve so much with a single link pro conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Meanwhile, in Ulda.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade, clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call, we will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
Meanwhile, in the Black Shroud.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come. Let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
Meanwhile, Orpheus. Are they gonna do this for every place?
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... Ah. That was a roar! A dragon's roar!
Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock?
Hey.
What a surprise this is.
Fuck yeah, Soroban.
And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
It's cool. Well, I'm all for relying on the power of friendship, but we're now left with the rare luxury of having nothing to do. There must be something that requires our attention. First the teleporting and now the final days, eh? No one can accuse the Esberg continent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, if they weren't so committed to the cause when they first set out. But after seeing examples, yet this is the same dialogue. Right? Yeah, it's the same dialogue. Okay. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allagan technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair, you seem to know more than the average scholar. If only Master Kakol knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with the preparations for the great Exodius? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the great expanse, if nothing else that beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you're mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Tamara is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodius Pa. That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I shall endeavor to provide Master Kakol with whatever information he should require. I'll admit, without refined adamantite, I ain't got a bloody clue how else I could get the Aether Burner performing any better. If you lot don't come up with the goods, we're buggered. Why isn't Sid here, man? I'm just saying, a Sid would make this go a lot smoother. Alright. Do. That's cool. Like a little barrier for each section. In order to protect the secrets of the central circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different than any other aspect of Charlatan society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called Charlatan Hamlet. What a quaint little settlement this is. A shame it's hidden underground. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork so much as a sheaf of documents at me and I'll put my lance through it. As surprised as I was to learn the forum's plan to send everyone to the moon, I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. Do my senses deceive me in the shadow of yon corner, whom one can hope but lead of not mischief undertakings? Okay. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scholar Monstermain mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. I can already do an Aetheryte quest, that's crazy. I might do it, actually. helping with the Ark. Even with all the power Master Cuckold's managed to squeeze out of the Aether Burner, it's still not enough apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we begun the Exodius sooner. People are dying and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan and all will be well. If the Aether Burner isn't up to snuff, we'll have to begin the Exodius sooner than planned so we can make as many trips as possible. Might all fail to meet the projected targets too. If so, we'll be faced with some hard choices about what to leave behind and who. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Working on the Aether Burner. Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in and day out, it's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The Forum's got enough on their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. A lot of powerful people have options about that. My Ark goes out to Master Fortran and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? It's a race against time to prepare for the great Exodius, but with everyone in such a rush, we're bound to make mistakes. Where's the third guy? I wonder. No, I don't see anybody out here. There we are. Offering to help. That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. is mostly lists of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person. After having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far, to be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Come to think of it, rabbits don't normally wear hats, do they? Or run their back paws, and perhaps it was an escape sample. It would appear the Lockbirds have infiltrated Charlene's most heavily guarded facility. How, I know not. What joy sampled the delights of Aetherius. How marvelous it is to see you again. You'll be pleased to hear I've learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Caratorium. It's all thanks to Arion J, you see. He's taught me the finer points of cooking, which, despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. Actually, I was rather hoping he'd show me how to bake an Archon loaf. They're quite popular, I hear, though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavor to speak of. Still, if that's the sort of thing your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey. Crikey, I wasn't expecting to see you here, yo. I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to say goodbye, and for having those other Lockbirds attack you. Terrible misunderstanding of that. Not to worry, though, as all has since recovered from the rather savage beating you administered. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little, on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most, anyway. Fancy meeting you here, yo. Our friends in the forum brought us to their tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is the Aetherius itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Arion J and your good self. Since you're both waddling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Won't that be fun? If you're too busy to show us the sights, we'll find other ways to keep ourselves amused. Don't you worry. Okay. I'll be right back. Oh. Sorry for the delay. There was tacos. It was good. Thank you for the tacos. Nice. Okay. I kind of like that a lot better. A tour of labyrinths. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Westwaysboro. It would be in our best interest to have the Loppers acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture. What a marvelous idea. Might we begin with the great big what's it over there yonder? Ah, yes, towards it. I shall leave its explanation to you. Considering singing away and growing away specialities, I expect them to pay full attention to your explanations, which I am sure will be most informative. My word, what magnificent architecture, such immaculate curvature. I'll have to make several adjustments to my work if I'm to match this degree of craftsmanship. I'll leave no corner unrounded. This is all very intriguing, I'm sure, but where are the food preparation stations? The, what's your word for it? Kitchens. That reminds me. Putting away our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Uriange's delights, has gone in search of Ethereal's ultimate sweet treat. Well, provided it's a pudding, as that's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? So we just have pudding way around. Galapagos. Did I read this right? Galapagos technical expert doth far outstrip our own. We would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offer uniform suppositions of our own. Unless that is unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surpassing knowledge concerning the construction and operation of advanced Charlian, what's-its. Goodness me, to build something so large without creation magic is positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features. Splendid, this perfect spot from which to view this astonishing apparatus. Search the apparatus pointer. You spot a ambystoma, an especially lively one at that. It would appear that the concept you observed in another time, another place, was approved for life in a wider world somehow. Well, that's comforting. Is that water I hear from inside the great big tube? It must be because of those cogs that the gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside too. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. This must be for purifying water drawn up from below. Just making sure there's no secrets. That looks like the trees in the Great Ensfell. Hold on, that's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. Am I right? Right, I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a few moments to install it even in the harshest of environments. For us leopards, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that peoples of Aetheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Both are true. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order. Once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual, it may be also worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphinaud spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the leopards will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlian Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, too many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big nasty teeth. Leopards may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of subsistence. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Going Way to thy care. A more valiant protector they would not wish for. Godspeed. It's all the same to you. I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way, to the water extraction, what's it? Why is the music like this? Always excited. I have a feeling the way forward is not as clear as we'd like. Could you go and take a look? Perhaps you could tell the local beasties were not nearly as delicious as we might appear. I say, that being not in mind to feast on roasted loper. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction what's it is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burned to a crisp if it's all the same to you. Okay, well, I see why the music is like this right now. Because of this section. Oh, look at that tree, man. Look at that lava, man. Ow. Okay. Let's get moving. That building looks nice and solid and safe. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly were we planning to head back later? You've done well to see those two here safely. They can but be a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. I couldn't help noticing a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see. Though I did catch a glimpse of some sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must be my imagination. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logskin Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. You will need to use the lift should you wish to go to the medical circuit. Let me know if you are headed that way. Been here before. Alright. That was terrifying, but at least the scenery was more pleasant than Woesome Garlemald. As a first impression of Antherius, it was far from favorable. Anyway, onwards and upwards, quite literally, as is the case here. As I understand, places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely. Forgive me for asking, but are we any closer to the kitchens? Come to think of it, why am I even here? Atmospheric manipulators are hardly my area of expertise. On this occasion, 'twould behoove us to seek the counsel of those qualified to describe the workings of the apparatus. They may also be in possession of schematics of other useful documentation, should the Loppers request them. As the forum's esteemed guests, 'tis unlikely that they would be refused, yet thou knowest as well as I the changeable dispositions of Charlian bureaucrats. Marvelous, simply marvelous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're all very lucky that Aetheris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out that way because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. I should like to say this preserved yet nevertheless intriguing contraption a while longer, if I may, that the Charlians were able to build something of this complexity with their limited knowledge and resources is most impressive. Yeah. Come together. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where is the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Merrill Agronomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus. Wouldst thou be so kind as to escort a visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Arianche was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention, Aetherius will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. It would appear I have inadvertently taken upon myself the more demanding duty, entertaining 3 inquisitive fluffers to thy 1. Yet be that as it may, 'twould be my pleasure to impart what little knowledge I possess to our would-be saviors. This place, yes, the heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples. I suppose if they did put me in a pie, I could just eat my way out. Wait, they get quite hot inside, don't they? On second thought, let's stick to the plan for now. What a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodius. And I'm the only one. We've got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce if we may. By all means, help yourself. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So where to begin? I have an enormous list of seeds, saplings, and whatnot to take to the central circuit, but I suppose that means anything not on the list is to be left behind. What a waste. As Ariandre informs me, the key to exquisite cuisine lies in selecting only the very best ingredients. This forum has commanded us to leave this place. As you can imagine, now is not the time for me to be answering idle questions, but if you insist. For now, at least, I am the second most important person in this facility. Now you may think I am shirking my duties, but even at this very moment, I am envisioning how we can improve our methods. Gazing upon this watermill claims my heart and clears my mind of uneasy thoughts, leaving room only for brilliant ideas. Even so, inspiration takes time, and today it seems to be slower in coming than usual. Mariel Agronomics is where the finest agricultural minds gather to research plant specimens from around the realm and methods by which to cultivate them. Plants grown here are also used to feed people working in the labyrinths, straight from out the fields to their tables, fresh can be. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes. Let's see if they are just as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. Tastes as much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that's certainly given me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? I'm not gonna go into a volcano for a bunch, but they're pretty good. Meh. Meh? An expression of indifference, I assume. In all fairness, our compendium did note they are valued more as an ingredient for spirituous beverages, rather than as a fruit for regular consumption. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Orange by name, orange by nature. what came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes, that's equal parts sweet and sour as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Orianche about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation. Let no one say I say otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I have yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in the field over there. Our gourds seem unfazed by the chaos occurring around us. If only we too could live our lives as peacefully as pumpkins. How true. That color, that texture, are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No. In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Blah, it's so hard and flavorless I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop. Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it, cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder, though, if there's anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? What a wonder. Rice fragrance. With luck, it'll have flavor to match. And I have no idea how they're eaten. I'll just bite into it. My tongue. Is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Good grief, I fear that lemon has irrevocably returned my sense of taste. Finish, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so with the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. It feels so violated. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth and more waste than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to bid a snack came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, Lemon Muffin, do your worst. This is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See, we rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it's a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Eidolon sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loppers, were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of the sentient life and the fate of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly, its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since times immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quests, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is their alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Pardon me, Eorzine, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you, anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many Aetheryte species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course, I look forward to it. Well, this has been a highly productive, probably. This has all been highly productive, probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? So he's one of the Forum's lunar collaborators, not quite what I was expecting, but he seems a decent sort. I'm glad he enjoyed the lemon muffin too. Hopefully the next time he has one, he won't be compelled to wax poetic about the meaning of life and the immaculate carrot again. Oh, there you are. Have the others finished talking about rainmaking whatsits yet? Where have you and Cooking been? If the two of you were engaged in pursuits of the educational nature, you should have taken me too. I am the leader after all. Not to rub it in, but we had the most fantastic time while you were away. Urianger was able to obtain all matter of metaphorical data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to the moon. It's my duty to make your journey as comfortable as possible, though there's no telling how long it'll be. 100 years, 1,000? Probably closer to 5,000, give or take. By Cooking Way's Bog Grim, I assume your excursion was a roaring success. That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. Muffins. I wonder how Pudding Way felt the first time Urianger made pudding. Though I'm not sure that actually was pudding, come to think of it, something about it seemed a bit off. Yo, I trust to die time at Miro Aeronautics did bear fruit. Our own efforts too were rewarded and now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlie and Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every blueprint there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Aw. That was ever so delightful, and with this much information I can fine-tune the moon's environs for your people's comfort. It's surprisingly tricky to estimate the appropriate temperature settings for being so lacking in fur. Why did I not ask Jepke how to make carrot muffins? We could have had baked good bursting with happiness. Oh no, there was nowhere in particular I was hoping to go. I simply wished to see, hear, feel, and think as much as I possibly can while we're here. What's to look for? What did I say? The loppers want for activities and stimulation, but I struggle to conceive of how to busy them whilst we wait. Yes, yo, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for theorists at Logston Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? Gasp, I say. With the star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move the cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not, though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Me, be of use to people. I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone mopping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. It's as good a place as any. Come. You'd best go with them. I don't think Iriange misjudged him, but going away does look like he could use some emotional support. I still have work to complete elsewhere. I trust that I won't return to find any leopards in tears. What time is it? 33? I think I'm gonna end the MSQ stream right there, or at least the video right there. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.